really proud of our senior class. It's a small class. I think there's 11 guys, but and some of them been here for quite a long time, and then some of them only been here a short period of time. But as a group, as a collective group, they've great leadership. They've helped us establish the culture. Good players, everything that you'd want out of a senior class. And it's a lot of times that's hard because if you didn't, if you haven't been with the same staff for 4 or 5 years, maybe you don't get to know them. But these guys bought in from the start. The ones we brought in this year have all contributed. So really proud of them. And I told them it's a special day. I think the greatest honor you can have as a college player, especially nowadays, is complete your senior year, particularly if it's a place that you've been at the whole time. But I think the seniors need to be honored, and we'll do that our own way on Thursday, and then with hopefully a good crowd on Saturday, the fans can show their appreciation for our seniors as well.
With this unique, the unique situation and transitioning up, do you think the senior day might be a little more meaningful for you than some of the past, watching what these guys have accomplished?
Yeah, that in a lot of ways, not only in the help in the transition, but these guys have been in a temporary home for 2 years now, and so they won't get to use the new building. Hopefully they'll come back. They can always come back and work out, whatever. But they've been in a temporary home. They had a transition, weren't able to go to the playoffs last year. We're still hopeful that they could get to a bowl game for this year, and they can be proud of the fact that, hey, they were the first Jack State football players to be in a bowl game. So that's one of our hopes as well. But they certainly have helped, and I told them they'll go down in history as a class that made a great impact in this transition from FCS to FBS.
I mean, just having 2 7th-year guys on the team. We talked about it preseason, but just what's that been like?
Yeah, it's really unique, and there's a couple around the country, and we got 2 on both sides, one on both sides of the ball that have played good football, but more than anything, they've been really good leaders. And I've always said, when practice is going on, when we have meetings, that I'm not worried about his leadership then. That's what the coaches are there for. But it's during the games, it's in the locker room, it's off the field, and those kind of things when your leadership really needs to take hold. And I don't want guys to get outside of who they are. They got to be, whatever their personality is, hopefully they lead in a positive way by that. And some guys are more vocal, some guys are quiet. And Zion and J-Ro, they're kind of quieter guys, but they're got a lot of respect because how they've worked, what they've been through, all the trials and tribulations. I guess if you're a college player for 7 years, you got a lot of stories. You got a lot of things that you've been through, injury-wise and everything like that, for both of those guys. So it'll be a special day for them, and the best way to honor them is to play really good football and try to win the game. But I think I'm personally very grateful for all those guys, and I think the whole staff is as well, and I think our fans are. I think our fans will show some great appreciation for them.
We saw Clay, Webb, and Zion and Derek Carter all get injured in the last game. How are those guys doing?
Get better. Zion's fine. He's been practicing. Derek, DC, he's good to go now. Clay has been banged up, but I think we're hopeful he'll practice this week. Who was the other one?
Just those 3. Those
are
is there anybody else you want to mention that you have a concern about this week?
No, not obviously we lost Jamari. We were way down in corners in the last game, but Derek, DC should be back for this one. And the bye week helped. We got a little bit healthier for that, which we're going to need. This is a really talented team. People realize Louisiana Tech has recruited very well. I've coached in that state before. I know the talent that they get. They can pull from different parts of the state. And we had friends of ours call us from other teams that played them and said they may have the best group of skill guys in our league. So, and we've seen that on film. So it'll be a nice challenge, and I'm hoping that there'll be a great crowd and we'll have play good football.
You mentioned being down in a corner. We saw Jameer get to play a lot in the last game. How did you think he looked? Yeah, for a true freshman in that environment, against some pretty good dudes. He really acquitted himself very well. He's going to have a great future.
he played a little bit of everything in high school, and he's an athletic guy. He kind of understands football, but he's going to have a really good future here.
We've seen him rotate in and out throughout the year, from an early point. Do you think playing so many guys, that's one of the advantages, is that if they play a little bit early on, if you do need them late, they're ready for it?
No question. We went that 5-week stretch of midweek games, and I think whatever he had, 4 games in 17 days or something. There were a lot of guys that, particularly defensively, that played a lot and got some experience. And we've played a lot of people this year, but I still think we need to be able to play more. And that's part of that's in our goal in recruiting, is that, whether it's 55, 60 guys, whatever, we've got to be able to get 55, 60 guys that we're ready on a week-to-week basis to play, because I'm sure our schedule will be similar to that next year. But that's part of us of building our roster to get to that point. We're not going to play a guy just to play him. They got to be good enough to win with. But we still got to get our roster to that point. And we're not there now, but if we have another good recruiting class and develop in the way we're supposed to, we'll be a deeper team going forward.
What did you do this past Saturday?
I just watched games all day. I did some of our self-scouting, which gives us a chance to do that. And then most of the staff was on the road recruiting. And then I just watched our film and then watched games all day. I mean, from the first one all the way to the last one. I learned a lot doing that way. I mean, you can't watch the all 22 film like we get and all that, but whether it's good things or bad things, I usually take mental notes or write things down that hopefully we'll do. But that was kind of enjoyed that Saturday. The first one, I think, is the only one we had we had Saturdays not playing, but we always had practice or whatever. So that was the first time we didn't have a practice or meeting on Saturday. So that was good.
Do you have any thoughts on Jimbo Fisher being fired?
Yeah, I don't know the whole particulars. I did see part of the press conference where Ross, the AD, was explaining his reasons why. And, I've known Jimbo since, high school. We're from the same part of West Virginia. In fact, we worked together. I think he was my first quarterback coach at Glenville State. I
thought you knew.
For about 3 months or something. So, he's a really good football coach, a great recruiter. I've known him for a long, long time. And obviously the people make a lot of the buyout and all that, but it's still, I kind of been there. It's still disappointing when you put a lot of, so much work in and then you don't really kind of get to finish the job. But Jimbo's, we're all big boys. We understand the profession, and A&M's got a lot of resources, and I'm sure that they have a plan going forward. But it's still, and people talk about the buyout, and it's pretty enormous. I mean, you think about, golly, it's hard to wrap your mind around that much money, I guess. But there's still disappointment because he put a lot of work in. They've recruited very well, and I think they probably believed that they were close. They just needed, play. And there's that's why any of these coaches will tell you it's hard to win. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's like different other professions that, you can have a successful company and somebody else can have a successful company and you all can coexist. In sports, your success usually means somebody else isn't having it, right? Somebody's winning and somebody's losing. And so everybody's trying really hard to win, and there's measurable numbers when you win. And so sometimes I don't think I've enjoyed the wins as much as I've been miserable with the losses. And we probably as coaches need to do that. I had never been able to do that very well, but when we win, we should enjoy it more because it's hard, especially in the highest level you go, the higher levels you go, it's hard to win. So I don't know, I was kind of off track to your question. But
You're fine.
Yeah.
We've seen Perry. We've seen a couple guys kind of step into that number one receiver role for y'all. But what does Perry bring to that spot that maybe has helped him kind of be there more consistently lately?
Yeah, he's one of our fastest guys. He's got a good feel for the game. His dad's a coach, and he's been around us for a couple years. Obviously a year in Monroe, and than while here. And so he's playing his best football. He's got a really good knack about, route running and got good ball skills. And so I've been really proud. And we have, purposely, we get opportunities or matchups or things we like with Perry. He's one of the guys that do want to try to get the ball to as many times as we can.
Did you think, just to go back to really all the games, but the South Carolina game specifically, how much the defense was able to win on third down, and with how many guys were able to make plays. Did you realize how good this defense might be coming into this year?
Well, I thought we were, if you remember, I thought we were pretty athletic. I just still didn't think we were as big as we needed to be, and I still don't. We're not as big as we need to be or will be, but we're pretty athletic, and they play hard. And Coach Alley and the staff have done a good job of doing some different stuff that gives us guys, give them in a position to make plays. But that's the thing I've been probably most proud of, is that we do a lot of stuff, and we got to do a lot of stuff to try to help us create some big plays on defense, and our guys have handled it really well and have gotten better. I think we've gotten better as the season goes along. Now, this is a new challenge here with all the skill that they have at La Tech, but our guys don't panic. The good part is they don't panic on defense. At halftime, they do a good job of kind of settling down, showing everybody what's happening, and trying to fix our issues. But the way they fly, we see it every day in practice. The way they practice and the way they, play really hard, it helps us.
Is that not panicking? Is that something maybe this team was always going to be that way, or do you think that's something this group learned because y'all had so many close games early?
Yeah, I would hope it's our level. I always say you always default to your level of training. So when things, it's inevitably things kind of get settled down in every game, but you settle down to where your level of training, which goes the way we practice. Our guys will tell you our Tuesday practices, and usually our Tuesday, Wednesday practices, they're not long, but they're intense. It's intense by purpose. I want our guys to feel a sense of pressure, if that's the right word, to get things right in practice. And so when you do it in a game, you're not having to elevate yourself to a different level. You, like I said, you usually default down to your level of training, and we want to make sure our training on our practices is at a high level.
It didn't seem like you would have this luxury kind of with injuries and everything, but you've had a couple of games with all three of your starting running backs. How much does that help?
Yeah, usually you go through running backs. Most teams, I see it on every level, because it's such a violent physical sport that you better have a bunch of guys. And we knew that coming in, and going forward, we got to still get good depth running back wise. We don't have big guys. We still need to probably get a little more size with some of our backs as well. But we've played a bunch of them, and they've all been pretty productive. It would be nice to have all of them 100% healthy. We're still not there. Malik's still a little bit banged up, and I think Anwar's probably getting closer to 100%. Ronnie should be good, but we'll play all of them if we can.
Wait, you think Anwar is still not 100%?
Yeah, I don't think he's been 100%. I've seen him better this past week in practice than he's been all year. I think in the last couple of games, he's still, I think he still bothers him a little bit on some of his jump cuts and all that. So I think this bye week probably helped him get back.
Just with the way the sport's changing, how do you feel like the running back position has changed since you kind of started coaching?
Well, it's like in an NFL. They've complained because they're not getting paid much, but there's some really good ones that are really dynamic, and those are the ones that are going to get the money. But it's not that they're not good players. It's just there's so many of them that you can probably get the same production out of a lot of guys. And so now we feel, obviously everybody's important, but we feel at the same time is that if we get one running back that's a first-round draft pick, boy, he's going to get most of the carries, right? But we've got all of them that are really good players, and we ask them to do a lot. We ask them to catch a ball, block, obviously run, and we got a lot of different run schemes. But I think you always got to have a deep stable of running backs. And a lot of times we want to play two at the same time. We haven't really been able to do that this year because they've been banged up so much. But everybody, you got to have them. And we've repped a whole lot of guys. I think we've repped 6 or 7 guys at running back during practice. Some guys that nobody's even seen there. So
It's a exciting feeling and a kind of sad feeling. You know, this is my last home game playing here at Jacksonville, so it's a kind of bitter moment right now. So I don't know. I'm just ready to see how it's gonna turn out Saturday.
Has your family said anything to you like, okay, like, is this actually your last time? Or like, do they tease you about just how many kind of last years you've had?
Not for real. They don't. You know, they don't really tease me as much as my teammates. My teammates, they swap been here for like 30 years. So, um, my family, they just like me. They ready to see me on Saturday. Play my last home game here at Jacksonville, and they just ready to walk me on the field and just hope I get the win.
Who teases you the most with the old man Joe?
It's so many I can't even tell you. It's everybody for real. So I can't really tell you who the particular person is. So I don't know.
What's been the biggest difference for you this year? Just in terms of how you've played, has it been mental stuff? Has it been physical stuff you've been able to do? What's been different this year?
This year I would say mentally, you know, because you know I've been playing this game for a long time, and then this is my second year under Coach Alley. You know, I finally got the understanding of his defense. You know, so I feel like this year was more mental. Then I had to put like a lot of younger guys in position to help them make plays. You know, so I feel like this year was more mental than physical. Last year was more physical. I was just going off my athletic ability, and this year I know more of the defense and what it takes. You know, like what I need to do, what the assignment I need to do, and where I need to be.
What does Zach ask you to do that maybe in the past? I guess what's different about sort of running his defense than other defenses?
His defense is crazy. You never know. You know, we seeing hot pressure here and there. You know, man. You know, zone. You know, so his defense very confusing. You know, we come up with new things every week. So I feel like he's a great defensive coordinator by keeping the opposing team confused. You know, by throwing different defensive coverages and pressures at them.
You said that you had talent at the beginning of the season, but just seeing the actual numbers that your defense has put up, just what's that been like?
It's great. You got everybody. You know, you just can't depend on one group. You know, everybody dialed in. You know, the D line they balling, the linebackers balling, and the back end balling. So I feel like all of us finally clicked. You know, once we all clicked, you know, it made everything better and everything went way smoother.
What did you think of the way Jameer played at South Carolina?
He did great, and it was his birthday. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he did. Oh, you said Jameer.
Jameer.
I'm sorry. But um, he's gonna be that guy. You know, in a couple years, everybody go know him. You know, he's a young guy, but plays like an older guy. And I feel like South Carolina, that was the game for him to go out and get his feet wet, and he stepped up to it and he handled business. You know, not many young people can do what he did. So I'm very proud of him, and I hope he be that guy that I think he's going to be in a few years.
Are there moments, maybe early in the season or during fall camp, maybe things you saw him struggle with that you've seen him just already, mistakes he was making that he's already kind of learned how to correct?
Yeah, of course. You know, coming in as a freshman, you know, coming to play college ball, you know, it's a lot to learn. You know, and then especially playing under one of the best defense coordinators in the nation, you know, it's a lot of packages and a lot of players that you got to learn. And then coming from high school, it's kind of hard to adjust to the college because everything moves faster and you got to learn more of your job. So I feel like it's a blessing that he got to learn it, and it's a blessing that I was here to help him and other older guys to help him get in the position that he is today.
With the absence of Jabari, just it seems like the core has taken a lot more snaps than usual. Just have you seen him just these last couple of games?
Oh, he's been doing good. You know, he's been playing good the whole season for real. You know, he's a ball magnet. You know, everywhere he goes, the ball goes. So I feel like he stepped up to the plate and handled business. So it's kind of like Jabari's still out there at the same time with him, with KK still been out there. So it's a great feeling to have him on the side of me.
How great was it? You know, I know he wasn't out there a whole lot, but getting Jamar Jemison, how great was it getting him back against?
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling to have JJ back out there. You know, he battled some things, you know, since fall camp, and he finally came in the clutch moment in the big game, you know, and made a big play on one of their best receivers. So it was great to have him back out there, and I just hope he finished the season strong.
Jared, for this senior class, with being senior day, can you just kind of talk about what this group means and what it means to Jacksonville State with, you know, with where you're taking this program, and how does it feel for you taking this program where it was
Oh, it feels great. I feel like since I got here, Jacksonville supposed to be in FBS. The talent that always was here. It was plenty of guys that I feel like should be in the league right now. So it's a blessing to come here. To see where this program had came from. From being FCS to FBS. And a lot of people didn't see us really dominating in the FBS. So I feel like it's a great feeling to go out and show people that it is ball players in Jacksonville and we are a great team and we compete on any level.
You talked about this senior class and what it means.
This senior class, man, I've been part of so many senior classes. So, but this senior class, I feel like we all, it's 11, 12 of us. We all came in, in the spring and we clicked and, we had to come together and say that we got to lead this team, the best way we can because we're moving up to FBS and a lot of eyes going to be on us. So I feel like we did a great job by being great leaders. When coach not in the locker room, we always there to prep on and teach on the younger guys and show them how everything's supposed to go and how to earn success and keep a hard edge.
Are you proud of what this group has accomplished this year?
Yes, I'm very proud. Like I said, I feel like we had something to prove. A lot of people was doubting us, saying that we was gonna be 8th, 9th in the conference. So I love that. I love being an underdog, like I always say. I love being an underdog. Because I love proving people wrong, and I feel like this team, we did that.
Just watching film, what have you seen out of Louisiana Tech?
They're a decent team. They're pretty good. They got good receivers and they special teams. They are amazing on special teams. Number 6, Smoke Hash, they guy, he's a great guy. When he get the ball in his hands, he's unstoppable. So I feel like it's gonna be a great competition and a great matchup this week.
It's bittersweet, It's been like I've been in college forever. Been about 6 years, 6, 7 years. But the moment finally came, so I'm just happy I was able to finish through college, get my education, and then also just play football and be with the guys. So I feel like, this game is going to be special for us because it's 11 of us and we all just want to get the win and finish strong. So it's going to be a bittersweet moment.
We just talked to Jeremiah, who everybody else has been here, he said 30 years. But you came in last year. How have you been embraced and how has it been your team here?
It's been good. It's been good to me. I thank Coach Rich Rod and the staff that came from ULM that brought me here to be a part of this team. They've been welcoming. It's just been like home. I'm used to the big city, grew up in Houston, but just being here, being with these coaches and these players, it's like I'm not far from home. It's welcoming. Everybody welcome me in quickly, fastly, and just accept me to their brotherhood. So it's a blessing to be here.
Have you taken part in the senior day before?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Okay.
Yes, sir, first time.
Is that, I know that I think a lot of fans, they see that and, I think you hear in high school, I know like that's something people look forward to when they're a freshman, sophomore. At this level, have you thought about that before? Like what it would mean to be on the field and be recognized one last time before?
I haven't really thought about it since I've been in college. I remember Coach brought it up last week, so it did bring me back to my senior year in high school when my mom and dad was out there. So it was a special moment, not just for me and the team, but also for my family, So they're coming down here for this game. And it'll just be like, a good moment because my dad, he couldn't make it out to any games this year. So this will be his first game, which will be my last home game in collegiate football. So that would be a blessing. But I haven't really thought too much on it. But, it's here. It's finally here. So got to go out strong, finish strong.
How special would that be to be able to play in front of your dad?
Oh, it'll be special because he was at Louisiana Monroe for my sophomore and junior year. So having him on the sideline was a big part of my game, and it was a blessing. So for him to be able to watch this game, which is my last home game, it's going to mean a lot to me. So I'm going to try to do the best I can, make him happy too. So.
You talk about your dad and just the way that he was a baller back then too. How much does it mean for you, just growing up with him, and now being at this level as well?
It means a lot because, I looked up to him, whether he knows that or not. I looked up to him. He played at Southern Miss, had a couple years in the league. So he's always been an idol to me, him and my mother. And it just brings me back to those moments, from middle school through high school, taking me out in the backyard or to the little middle school that's like 5 minutes from my house to train, do little drills, DB drills, receiver drills. So I think about that every time, like before I play a game. He put me through all the work. So when the moments come, I'm not, nervous or anything like that. So it just brings up all those moments with my dad and my mother as well, because he was out there too, recording or whatever she was doing. But you know, it's a special moment. And to be able to have a father who played in it and knows what I'm going through mentally and physically, it just helps me even more. So I'm happy he's able to watch this last game, and I'm happy, you know, for him to be my father.
When you were thinking about coming here, there had to be just, I'm guessing there was some part of you that wondered you knew some of the coaches, but how's it going to go? How's the season going to be? This is going to be the first year at the FBS. I imagine you had some of those conversations with people, right?
Yeah, coming from FBS to go to FCS, you know, it was a hard decision. You know, I spoke to my parents and I was like, you know, every kid, you know, when you think about coming out of high school, you want to go FBS, D1, of course. So it was still D1, but I was like, you know, I don't know if that's going to help me or if it's going to, you know, make it harder to get to where I want to try to get to. But, you know, I trust the coaching staff that's here, and then, you know, they talked to me about it. As long as you put good stuff on tape, you know, and then the coaches had great connections, you know, everything could work out. So I didn't think too bad on it after I started, you know, looking up, you know, about the school information. And a lot of players, you know, came from this school, from the FCS level, went to the league. So I feel like anywhere you are, as long as you do what you need to do, you can make it. So once I came here and seen what we did last season, I was like, you know, it's no big deal. Like, we doing better than what we did before. So then now us being FBS even helps even more, and, you know, we making noise. So.
Would you describe this season as a success?
Yes, I would describe it as a success. You know, it's always room for improvement. Felt I could have did more as a player individually, but I feel like this year is a success, especially me coming back from my Achilles injury. You know, it took me a little while. That's why last year I felt I wasn't like the same player I used to be, but this year I feel like I'm more of myself, you know, healing each day. So I feel like each day I'm getting better and coming back to what I was. So
is that maybe the biggest difference? I don't know. It feels like to me you've been a little more explosive, a little more consistent the last month than maybe early on. Is that a health thing?
Yeah, probably a health thing, you know, and just getting confidence. You know, the beginning of the year, you know, we ran the ball a lot because, I mean, we was tearing up in the run game, so I understand that. So, you know, once you don't have the ball in your hand, it's kind of hard to have your confidence. You know, you try to carry it from practice and training to the field, but you got to get that in-game feeling to really, you know, build your confidence. So once you start throwing it, everybody start getting the ball, you know, our confidence built. So now I feel like, okay, like, I know who I am, remember who I am, so.
Just watching film, what have you seen from Louisiana Tech?
Pretty good team. You know, they're a pretty good team. You can't doubt them because their record, you know, so we still got to prepare this week like any other week, you know, and finish this game strong. We got a good idea of what they like to run a lot on defense, so, you know, we're going to come out, do what we do. We have a good game plan, and, you know, hopefully have a win Saturday night.
Do you ever go against Jameer in practice?
No, I never went against him.
Okay.
You know, I did outside receiver in the spring a lot, but he wasn't here yet, so I haven't had a chance to go against him. But he's a good corner, though, especially for a young guy. He's a really good corner.
How tough is it for just guys like that, freshmen, to suddenly be like, oh, starter's out, suddenly you got to go in?
Oh, yeah, I can't even imagine. I know that has to be a hard task to take upon, especially being at this level. Like, we play some good teams, so it's not like you just, you know, you can't say it's like high school because, you know, high school you have some of those teams they're really not, you know, talented. But everybody we played this year has been a talented group. And then especially him coming out and starting that South Carolina game, you know, that's Power 5 football, and he held his own. So that really shows, like, the type of player he is. So he's just going to be dangerous next year. He's going to make a name for himself.
Do you mind if I ask who's on your necklace?
Yes, this is my baby cousin. She, yes, sir. She passed away a long time ago, but
I'm sorry about that.
there's no problem.
Is that, I don't know, I guess probably a good reminder
Oh,
for
yes,
you
sir.
to just.
I take it with me everywhere. So on the back it says "Hold me down," so I just know, you know, she watching over me.
What was her name?
Kennedy.